WWE Hell in a Cell kicked off with a huge announcement that Cody Rhodes was suffering from a torn pectoral muscle. However, he would still be competing. With this, the night was surrounded by worry, but overall, each match delivered. Given the excitement the event usually brings, the lack of Roman Reigns on the card definitely affected the show, but the performances of the different superstars made it more important. This is Wrestling Hub, and here's the Hell in a Cell report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. The night began with a long video package highlighting the history between the superstars. However, as the Chicago crowd chanted yes, it was BELAIR who had the disadvantage. ASUKA hit some yes kicks, but BELAIR reversed an armbar into the previously banned buckle bomb. Lynch got her shots in by sneaking in when she could to get the advantage. Lynch got a close near fall, but ASUKA interrupted the pin. Lynch also managed to get out of the KOD, but BELAIR still took her down, gaining control. BELAIR tried the double pin after the top rope move on both stars, but ASUKA hit double knees on them both and then locked in the double ankle lock. All three women held nothing back, with the match really popping off the crowd. They were really invested and it was a big show, with the match already being called a classic. However, BIANCA was chunked out of the ring by Lynch, who hit the manhandle slam on ASUKA. BELAIR came back through Lynch out of the ring and pinned ASUKA instead to retain her title. Bianca Belair defeats ASUKA and Becky Lynch to retain her championship. MVP made the mistake of brushing off Cedric Alexander backstage during the night. He told him that the Hurt business was done once and for all. It would come back to bite him. It appeared a foregone conclusion when Lashley was facing OMOS and MVP, as despite it being Lashley, the odds seemed too big to overcome. Lashley had the complete support of the hot Chicago crowd. OMOS threw Bobby around for a bit, and the commentary highlighted how the Almighty was at a disadvantage. He tried to fight back, but he was stopped each time in his tracks. After OMOS had done enough damage, MVP tagged himself in. However, Lashley was having none of this. He beat down MVP and threw him away before fighting OMOS once more. OMOS looked to destroy Lashley, running around the ring before tackling Lashley through the barrier in the ringside area. MVP and OMOS would have been happy with a countout finish, but Lashley entered the ring at the last second. Cedric Alexander interfered and distracted OMOS, which left MVP alone. Lashley dodged a boot from the Star and locked him in a hurt lock, forcing him to tap, as Bobby Lashley defeats MVP and OMOS. After the bout, Lashley made it clear that he was going after the WWE title soon, taking a belt from one of the fans and celebrating. That was a clear message to Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens had a lot of frustrations as he went into the match against EZEKIEL. Elias's brother had the apparent advantage for most of the bout, but he was sent into the post head first. Before that, he had got an elbow drop and it seemed like WWE was almost giving him a quick win. EZEKIEL was unbelievably over with the Chicago crowd who were chanting for him. Owens hit a moonsault and then tried to get him to admit that he was actually Elias. He impressed everyone, hitting a tornado DDT and tried a swanton bomb, but EZEKIEL got his legs up. Owens hit him with a pop-up powerbomb that got a near fall. Owens fought against EZEKIEL, and despite the Star not admitting that he was actually Elias, Owens hit him with a stunner to pick up the win, as Kevin Owens defeats EZEKIEL. While Owens could not get the confession, he got the win. The rivalry between the two will continue in the coming weeks, however, much to the pleasure of the WWE crowd who have fallen in love with EZEKIEL's gimmick. Finn Balor was massively over in Chicago and AJ Styles was similarly cheered. They got ready to face Judgment Day with Liv Morgan and then began to brawl as soon as these stick stars were in the ring. Ripley hit the headbutt on Morgan, slowing things down. She threw her former tag team partner around before Liv finally fought back. Priest came in and fought Styles. AJ used his experience to gain the upper hand. The Judgment Day took advantage of any and every opportunity to gain the advantage and Edge came in. When he entered the ring, he threw Balor around and brought him back to beat him up in the corner, with Edge and Priest beating down BALOR, it was a case of isolating the star. BALOR was trying to get the tag but could not. He finally tagged in AJ, who hit Edge with everything in his repertoire. Styles hit the phenomenal forearm, but the pin was broken up by Priest. The three babyfaces hit the triple dive to the outside, where AJ was apparently hurt. BALOR tried to hit Priest with the coup de grace, but Ripley stopped him. Edge came in and tried the spear, but was turned into a cradle pin. BALOR hit the shotgun dropkick and went for the coup de grace again. Ripley distracted and he missed. Edge hit him with a spear and pinned him to get the win for Judgment Day. MADCAP, Moss, and Corbin have a long history. Corbin was attempting to send Moss back to the hospital. He attacked him with a chair, but Moss was not happy. He threw a commentator's chair at Corbin, taking out his anger. Corbin hit him with the chokeslam, almost getting the win. He then went on to beat up Moss. Corbin threw the chair outside, listening to fans chant for the table. However, he was the ultimate heel and picked up a chair instead. This cost him, as Moss grabbed the chair and beat up Corbin with it, again and again. Corbin brought in these steel steps, but again that did not go well. Moss took up the steps and then punished Corbin by hitting him with the fallaway slam on top of the table. He then wrote Corbin off TV by punishing him the same way that Corbin had sent him to the hospital. He put Corbin's neck inside the chair and then crushed it with the steps. That was enough to get the win. WWE appears to be priming Moss for a huge push, and it's working with the crowd. MADCAP Moss defeats Happy Corbin. The next match was for the US title. Mustafa Ali was the heavy favorite, being from Chicago. Throughout the bout, Theory was on the back foot. He slipped outside to regroup multiple times. He kept trying to avoid Ali, but that was not enough, as Ali hit him with a crossbody. He then gained the advantage, and Corey Graves made a reference to John Cena, with whom Theory has been feuding with on social media. Graves said that Theory was showing ruthless aggression. Ali reversed and fought back against Theory, and then showed creativity by attacking Theory's left knee. Theory came back with a Spanish Superfly. He then hit the Tornado DDT and locked in the STF, but Theory was able to reach the ropes finally. That was yet another reference to Cena, and for a moment it looked like the match was done. Ali then to hit the frog splash, but Theory stopped him and hit the 8-count down to win. Theory defeats Mustafa Ali. Cody Rhodes was walking the match with the disadvantage, but that didn't seem to put him off at all. The fact that he was injured appeared to be only a storyline, but heading into the match, the commentators were really selling it. Rollins was already playing mind games as he came out wearing Dusty Rhodes polka dot gear. Cody had a very visible red bruise on his right shoulder. The commentary team reminded fans about his damaged pectoral tendon. For Rollins, it turned out to be a huge bullseye. Cody hit Rollins with a disaster kick and a Cody cutter, but Rollins used a kendo stick to attack Rhodes' already damaged pec. He had the advantage again and again. Rollins put on Cody's robe and used the weight belt to beat him up, and then brought out the table from under the ring, making the crowd really happy. Rollins set it up, but Cody avoided the dive, and Rollins ended up putting himself through the table. Cody showed that he was actually insane, paying tribute to his father and his brother, bringing in the Texas bull rope. He made Rollins wear it, and they both suddenly started to fight inside the cell structure with the bull rope. Cody used the rope bell to hit Rollins between the eyes with it. Rollins still kicked out and fought back. He brought in another table. Rollins sends Cody through the table with his injured shoulder. He kicked out and Rollins brought in the sledgehammer. Cody paid tribute to Triple H by hitting him with the pedigree, but Rollins kicked out. Rhodes hit Rollins with 2 crossroads and then added the exclamation point by hitting him with the sledgehammer. That was it. Cody Rhodes defeats Seth Rollins for the 3rd time in a row.
I am sure that I'm going to explain things a little further tomorrow. I will be very brief. No one convinced me with a torn pec to come out here. It is solely my decision.
Thank you, Cody!
You would have to literally kill me from staying away from this ring 10 times out of 10. I would have made the same decision going on last, all state arena in Chicago. You can't deny it. You guys have believed in me and you didn't have to. Please know from the bottom of my heart, I believe in you. We are going to finish this thing. Thank you all very much. Have a great night, and I love you. Thank you.
And this was your Hell in a Cell report. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.